Welcome back to Stationeers, and I wanted to cover some quick feedback we got on this, essentially heat pumping, heat exchange, or whatever you actually want to call it, going on here. So I had some good feedback. Let's get started with that, and it's to do with some of the programming stuff. First of all, thank you very much. The function I couldn't remember the name of. I was looking for branch everywhere, so I was looking in the B's. It's not in the B's, it's further down. It's SLT. Where are we? SLT. There we go. So the register value, the first thing in the line, is 1 if A is less than B, otherwise 0. Okay, so we can use that in here. So if we have a look, and some of the other things I'll change as well, but yeah, let's take a look first. We'll get to this point where I'm starting to subtract stuff from a certain value. Okay, so instead, if we want to branch, not necessarily, that's not great. So let's see, register equals 1 if A is less than B, otherwise 0. So if the temperature is less than, let's see, if the temperature is less than 1250, we want everything on. So we can set a register being on there, but we can also do SGT, so register equals 1 if A is greater than B, otherwise 0. Okay, so if we wanted to, we could rearrange that just to assess these temperatures versus the current temperature. And some of the other feedback I got as well was we can use aliases for all kinds of different things, including the internal registers. So I'm going to set some of those up just so this is more understandable, and I'll probably do this in the future as well, because it's so we can set R1, and then we just want to set R2. So we so alias our tank temperature, tank temp, R2. I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm prepending them with an R, just so that I know I'm dealing with a register, not with a device. That's the only issue with starting using aliases for everything. We need to be able to distinguish between them. Okay, so we've got some registers, we've got some values, and now we can feed stuff in. So instead of saying load into R0, we can load into, so let's say, R outside temp, and then same thing for the others, so R inside temp. And apologies, but this is going to be a bit of a programming episode. I know not everyone prefers them. I try to alternate them. So yeah, we're basically reading in the values, and I'm just storing the setting with R2, so we can say that we want to store the tank temperature onto the setting. And then these are our values as well, so we can alias those values, I believe. Hopefully. Let's get that a go. I know there's a lot at the start of the program when you do this, but it just means you can deal with it in a more common sense English sense if we do it. So let's just say shut down, so let's just say constant. Well, I'd normally just use this in capitals, but let's just use C. So shut down temp is going to be 1250. Okay, that does work. And let's just put a couple of others, or at least the syntax highlighting is saying it should work. And then we want to say R10, so we want the constant of, let's say, I don't know, what do we want to call it? That's the usual problem with computers. High temp for now, and 273. So anything above freezing of water, and we want to do this, and see low temp is the other side of things. And then we can reuse these inside the code. So let me just add those back to the code so you'll see what I mean. Okay, so that means we can just get rid of these lines for now. We don't need that one, and we don't need the next one, or the next one. We instead are going to just change this value into assessing what should be happening. So you see I've got these registers for whether things should be shutting down. This is the modes, if you like. I don't have an enum structure or anything like that. So these are the modes, and I can then say I want to fill those in. So we're going to say, I'll set something to them. So we want to know if anything we need to whether we want to shut down or not. So SGT, and our shutdown. So that's what we're storing in. And then everything after that is if A is greater than B. So my first thing I'm going to type is greater than the second thing I'm going to type. So we want the R tank temp is greater than our C shutdown temp. Okay? And that will store in R shutdown. So if R shutdown is 1, we're going to jump elsewhere and do something. But we're not going to need to do that straight away because we can then assess other things as well. And we're going to do the same thing as before. So if the temperature is above 273, so it's GT, and we know we want to, so our cool and insert, that's the Boolean value we're going to store. So if it's the outside temperature now I actually want, so I've got an R outside temp is greater than C high temp, i.e. our constant, because you can just change these three values to adjust the behavior once we've got this going. Then we've got a new Boolean that tells us we want to enable a certain mode. And if the temperature is below, so if this is one going to be less than this, so what is it going to be? R purge, I think? Yes, R purge. So we want to know if the R outside temp is below C low temp. And if it is, then purge mode will come on. Essentially, exhaust everything out. And we may not even need the inside temp, because that's inside the block. That's only for safety more than anything else. But I'll leave the line in there so we can use it, and you can use it in your own code if you want to. So with that, everything just drops down to 3 values. So from here, we're going to be able to say, if, let's see, we're going to branch, aren't we? And let me just say, I want to create a value down here somewhere. So shut down. Okay. And then I'll just change this bottom one to start. Okay. So here we want to branch. So let's have a look at what branches we've got available to us. We want to know if A is greater than 0. So B greater than 0 should do it. So branch greater than 0, and it's let me just make sure I've got the documentation here so you can see what I'm doing. Branch to line B if A is greater than 0. Now it says to line B. I'm just thinking hopefully that could allow me to jump to a label. Hopefully. Let's see. So R shutdown. Oh, actually, yes, that's right. So we're testing R shutdown is 1 basically, and then we're going to branch to shutdown. Yep, looks like it can. So shutdown is going to run. It's going to set everything to 0, and it's going to jump back to the start, which is up here. Okay, and then we'll go through the same thing again. Now, we may want to slow that down if that's the case. So we may want to yield here. Whoops. We don't want this necessarily to run as fast as possible. So yield and then jump back to start. And this is the idea of functions, by the way. If you're a programmer, you know exactly what I'm doing. But we've just been running top to bottom until now, and this just makes more sense to introduce kind of a more advanced way of doing things, or at least a nicer way of doing things. It's just longer. And the main problem you have with the programs here is we only have 128 lines, 0 to 127. We're not going to get to that just yet, but you get the idea. All right, so we're already testing that. Now, if it's not greater than 0, i.e. if it is 0, then it's going to continue on to the next line. So then we're going to say, well, BGTZ, and I'm going to do this twice, I think. I think we can do the same thing twice. And now we're going to test rcool and insert. So rcool and insert is whether the outside temperature, if it's warm basically outside, we want to then jump to warming stuff. So rcool and insert. And then we'll just say warm. That will be red at the moment, but don't worry. And then rpurge is whether it's too low. So again, whether that's greater than 0 just means it is too low. And we can just say purge. Okay. So we can then take out this, hopefully. And we can get rid of not hot entirely. And what is not hot? It's setting the vents to 1, the mode to 1, the wall coolers to 1. What is that? Which mode is 1 again? Yep, if the wall coolers are on, it means I'm pulling stuff in, so that is also fine. And we don't need any of that, so warm, and we don't need any of this. We're just going to say purge. Yep, purge. Okay, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Now, if we go onto these lines, it should change to purple. It does. So in each case, we're going to warm, then yield. Then we're going to jump to start. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing on purge, I think. Are they all exclusive? I think so. And that hopefully should be it. We'll see whether this is broken shortly. But you'll see now there's a whole nicer structure to this if we can get it to run like this. So warm, jump back to the start. Purge, jump back to the start. Shut down, jump back to the start. Confirm. Export and see everything go wrong. Or not. It's saying there is unknown at line 12. Okay. What is unknown at line 12? Line 12. That it seems we can't use. Oh, I want to have these as set values at the top. Really can't use alias to look at numbers. Just registers and devices. That's a shame I can't create a constant. If anyone knows if I can create a constant in this, do let me know, but it seems that I can't do that for now. Okay, so I can't have these nicely at the top. I was going to rearrange this so these were all at the very, very top of the screen. What we'll have to do is just store them in a register and then alias the register. Okay, that will work as well. It just means I need to store them in a register somewhere. So let's say 10, 11, and 12 maybe? Yeah, so let's, we need to move them into a register. Let's insert a couple of lines here. So 3, move into R10, 1250. Okay, move into R11, 273. And move into R12, 223. And then we can just alias R10, R11, and R12. Okay, will you work now? So they are still in one place. And that bug, if developers watching, please stop a bug when you press space after leaving the editor. It brings up the editor. And that is working. Okay, or at least it's working at the moment. It is daytime, so it's not long before sunset. We can see how that actually works after sunset. And yeah, hopefully that's pretty good. I'm much happier with that version of the program than I am with the previous episodes, but I was rushing previous episodes. So I will just update this program. You'll see it in a paste bin below the episode. And you can take a look and, of course, feel free to debate the finer points of programming here. But it all is all very nice. There is no jumping around to set lines, no jumping relative lines anymore. It's just going to actual labels or functions. We can't really pass values in except for globally, unfortunately. But yeah, that's a high-level language thing. Never mind. Anyway, so that, yeah, let's just wait till after sunset and hopefully everything shuts down. Okay, so we're here at nighttime and it's just about to hit 50 degrees, or below that is, which should shift things. Yep, it just changed back and it's exhausting. So we can change things based on those values. Performance of Stationeers isn't always great. It has this slight hitching problem occasionally. Did add a couple more lines just to basically yield and jump back to the start here. So this is basically equivalent of a main function, if you know what that is, if from programming terms. And then we're jumping out to other functions here. If you leave these two lines out, it's going to drop into the next, it's going to carry on execution down. So if I don't have these here, if for some reason some of this didn't evaluate, it would jump into basically trying to warm things. Now, if you wanted safety, all you need to do is basically, if you want to leave those out, then I guess you could put shutdown first, and it would fall through into shutdown and would go into shutdown mode whenever anything was, not as expected. But what are these conditions? Is there any time where things aren't one and at least one of those things? So if the temperature is below 1250, this will go to 0. If the temperature is below 273, it will go to 0. And if this is above 223, so if it's between the two values, that would have previously just gone into warm, which is actually perfectly fine for me, because that means the temperature is probably falling down towards 223 or going up above 223. In either case, it works regardless. But I'm just going to leave it like this and make it explicit. Okay, so the only reason why these should actually halt now is if we get to the temperature I have actually set, which is 1250. So if we have a look on here, it's 613. They're not going to change during nighttime, of course, because, when I say nighttime, below -50, because we've decided that's when we don't want to try and harvest the heat. Now, there's no reason on Mars why you need that lower value. You could try continually feeding stuff in. The only problem is if you do that, then you get to a situation where that room is continually being pressurized. So instead of having an exhaust system, like we've got it to purge, you'd instead have to just, once the temperature, internal temperature reached a certain low level, so I don't know, let's say -150, then you'd have to purge the system. In this case, it's just a nice heating cooler system that I can just leave on, and that's really quite nice. And I don't want to worry about it too much. And of course, I can connect to more active vents up if I need to. Not that I should do all that much. And at night time, it cools down a little bit, but by nowhere near the amount of heat that gets added during the day. So I'm pretty happy with that system. And I was building steel frames. Oh, steel frames. That's because I was keep getting people saying, "Hey, you said you were going to put a roof on this base," and it lighted up and stuff, and I kind of forgot. Or rather, I was doing other stuff. How much steel do I have left? I have enough steel for lots of sheets as well. Okay, so let's just drop those down and grab those and see if I can put a bit of a roof on the place. Now, one other comment I did have, and it is now -19, it's building, so this is still exhausting. And this is because of the way the program is structured. Just because I've got it when it's above 273 and below 223, there is this sort of period in between the two, i.e. it's approaching 0 degrees C now, when the system isn't basically harvesting the heat. Now, that's... To be honest, there's no reason why you couldn't set the 273 value to 230. For example, if I set that, so if it's warmer than 233, get the idea, and we just export, it should start actually, that bug, it should already start heating. There we go. Yeah, so the heating works fine. I've just put it as a Schmidt trigger. One is that you don't have that period in between where it's fighting, potentially, where it's on and on and off, on and off. But that gives you more control about what you want to actually happen at various stages. So this just gives you more heat being gathered. It shouldn't matter at the end of the day because, in my case, it should build to that 1250 temperature just fine. And I won't need to do anything there. So as you can see, I've started laying out the roof a little bit more. I am going to need a lot more of those frames, so I've started up the machine again. I'm going to need to weld an awful lot more as well. I'm not going to do this section, but I'm probably going to do this section today, and then maybe get some lights in. And yes, I should put an actual stacker here, so why don't we actually do that and make sure that these sheets I got don't go all over the place. So where is the input? Now the power's on this side. That's actually good. I guess we should connect them with a chute, but they should be okay. I think the stacker doesn't have the problem that the rest of the machines do when they've got chutes connected to them or something along those sort of lines. Where if there isn't enough buffer in the chute, or if the door is shut, it never reopens again. And the sooner that bug is fixed, the better my life will be. Let's just quickly attach this, and there we go. So I'm going to set this to 50, I think. And you're going to work just fine. Okay, so no more piling stuff up when I forget about it. It'll just come out in nice neat little piles when I forget about it. Good. Ish. Okay, this is the point where I sort of hope for some kind of faster welding method at some point, but yeah, maybe that's just a vain hope. And with one steel sheet to spare, this section of the roof is sort of done. I don't want it airtight just yet. That just uses up a lot of steel. But as you can see now, without the sky visible for the most part, aside from, you know, just between the blocks, it is quite dark. So we are going to, I don't even remember what's behind that block. There's a reason why that's there. I'm not going to remove it for now. But yes, once the roof is in, and we don't need this circuitry anymore, we can start looking at this. Because if I remove that passive vent, everything down here is actually closed now. So if I just, let's just get the tools ready. Is it a drill, or is it, no, it's, yeah, there we go. Okay, so that will exhaust the area in there. And we can get rid of that. It now means I don't actually need essentially this area. I can just replace it with a wall if I want to. Yeah, well, it's very hot in there. I need to remove these radiators, however, so I may as well just shut that door, and I can just block that up later. There's no real issue there. You can see we're up to 687. So it's a good point. If I need to get more steel, then I guess our furnace setup is working pretty well. And for light, why don't I turn off my ever-present portable light from my backpack? And where do we want the light to go to? We certainly want it to, you know, past this point. So one of these wall light longs seems to at least light at one block, probably 2 blocks. So we can probably get away with, if it's going to be 2 blocks the other way, why don't we share a block, because this is sort of getting a bit dim. So we have one there, and yeah, let me turn this back on so you can see. I know YouTube is a little bit dark. So if we share that block, then we should put the lights here on, oops, that's another bloody, ugh. It occasionally just has that pausing, which causes me problems. So we probably want it around here, don't we? So let's just put that back in here on this particular block. So we want wall light longs going this way. And we want it in the middle of the block, like that. And on the middle of that block as well. So we just want a gap of 3 in between each one. So 1, 2, is it between each one? Yeah, between each one, then we put it on the 4th. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll take it to here. And here. Well, we should think about spacing them out in this direction, in that direction as well, but that should be fine. It seems to be able to do 2 blocks away. So here's the interior, well, exterior wall of our hydroponics, and our exterior wall of the base is 2 away as well. It's currently 1 block inwards for the rest over there, but if we've got this, you know, section going on the outside, we probably might want to make the outside wall of the base a little bit further out. So I will build that onto it later, I think. And that just means now I just need to hook up this system with the rest of the cable. Unfortunately, the cable runs are probably going to be the longest part of this. If we just take out that composite wall, yeah, if we just come off that line, they'll all be controlled by that same bit of circuitry, and we'll just run a bus going this way, essentially. Let me just drop that for now. And we may well go with cladding. I think it makes a nice smooth surface for the roof. These sort of lines, yeah, not terribly, I don't really like them all that much. Not for the ceiling anyway, they're quite nice on the walls. Individual tastes may differ. And let's just get you going this way. There we go. And now, just lots and lots of cabling for me. And the only problem actually with this is that it darkens the interior of the base substantially regardless. So I think we can just turn off this, and I think I'm just going to write... Yeah, I think I'm just going to change this away from our compare unit. And actually, because this is a four-way switch, so let's just put that in. Not going to show you most of the cabling, just connecting this thing up. And corner. Yeah. And then we'll just actually, this probably should be junctions because we're going to extend it later. What was I going to say? Yeah, we should just have them on all the time. I normally try and save power where I can, but it's really dark in here, and it'd be nice not to have to use this backpack light for, you know, all that much. So I'm sort of in favor of having either a motion detection system for this, or just on all the time, to be honest. So let's just change that, and we should be able to... This should be a quick change, actually. Let me just get rid of my tools here. We don't need a logic reader or the batch writer we do need, so let's just get rid of logic reader. We don't need to know if it's daylight or not. We don't need to know that either. All we actually want is one, and just some cable. There we go, and we just want to read whatever that is, logic memory, so I need to just rename it. It can just be a switch, to be honest. In fact, yeah, let's... do I have a switch on me? I don't have a switch on me. Fine, we'll just rename it and just change it that way. Lights on. Yep, there we go. Drop that for a second. Grab my tool belt and click through many things to get to this, because I still don't have a copy-paste data card. And yes, I did replace it with a switch. I wasn't happy with a logic memory. You can see it's quite dark in here with them off. And light switch on. Yeah, that's quite good. It's lighting everything up, I think, nice and visible. It'll help a little bit more, obviously, once there's cladding on the ceiling, but I'll leave that for another day. For now, we have a system going. I'll just put this wall back. Whoops. Construct composite wall. There we go. Yep, so we have something that I don't need to run around now with my light on. The light is actually off at the moment, not on. Difference being this. Not much at all, is it? So, yeah, quite happy with that. Seems to be just fine. So we've got lights, we've got a roof, and we can extend this power bus around the base. It's just all controlled from the same switch. Later we can just deal with it with motion controls, of course, but I don't need to worry about it. And in fact, I can even take that daylight sensor out. We don't need it anymore. So yeah, quite happy with that today. So we've got an improved program. I will put this on the paste bin, of course, and you can let me know what you think. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the episode. We've got a few bits done, and we'll see you next time. And it is really dark over here. Let me just grab that, copy that. And in fact, I'm going to overwrite my function in my own library, the heat harvester. I'm going to overwrite that with this. Then I can always set it up again. So, yep. And did I click copy? I think I did. Okay. So, if you like the episode, feel free to like, subscribe, share, as you normally would. And it's really dark outside that zone. And we'll see you next episode for more Stationeers. As always, guys, thanks for watching.